So why the cross? But there is more to the story than that. Jesus also came into the world to deal with the sin barrier that separates us from God. He came into the world to die. He lived a perfect life. He went about doing good. Yet the religious leaders increasingly opposed him and had him falsely accused and put to death by crucifixion on the cross. Part of God's plan. Yes, this all is in God's plan. The cross is the center of God's amazing rescue mission to save us from the penalty of sin. The Bible talks about substitution, someone who is innocent taking the place of the guilty. And Jesus came to be that person. He took our punishment and he stood in our place. We cannot be put right with God by our own efforts because we are guilty of rejecting God's rule over our lives. This is what sin is. And the penalty of sin is death, both physical and spiritual. So God had to send a perfect substitute. Jesus is the only perfect person who ever lived. He had no sin of his own, so he alone was qualified to stand in our place and take our punishment. And this is how far God's love for us is willing to go. To let his son die a criminal death in our place as our substitute. Jesus died for us. Jesus died for me. All the accumulated sins of the human race throughout history were heaped upon his sinless life on the cross. There he paid the awful penalty for sin in full, so that if you believe in him, you might not perish but have eternal life instead. And in dying, Jesus also conquered death and defeated sin, who holds the power of death and keeps all people captive under his control. What an amazing rescue plan. God has done all that he can possibly do for us. Now it is your move. It is now up to you to accept what he has done on your behalf, or else continue to reject him. There is no middle ground. There is no sitting on the fence. What kind of response will you make? For God has shown us how much he loves us. And he tells us that in the Bible, for it was while we were still yet sinners that Christ died for us.